So when we're utilizing these ingredients, these components for architecture, for energy architecture, we can provide resilience, scale, but also independence on the grid. I think that gives us an advantage. It creates scale, but also gets power to the market relatively quickly.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Charlie Faulkner. He's CEO of EdgeMode. Charlie, very good to meet you. For investors new to EdgeMode, how would you describe the company and the problem you're solving in the AI infrastructure space?
Thank you very much. Yeah, very good to meet you. Well, EdgeMode, we're an AI infrastructure developer. So what that means is we're identifying and acquiring what we believe are high potential data center sites. Now, the issue that one has right now, and it's a global issue, but it's especially pertinent in Europe, is that there's a greater demand for AI infrastructure than there is supply. And that's really a function of lack of power, which what's one of the topics I'm sure we're going to talk about later. So our business model is very simplistic. We're identifying, we're acquiring, and then we're developing sites which are at scale. So we've just done a deal recently, 1.5 gigawatts. This makes us, if not the largest, one of the largest AI infrastructure businesses in Europe to solve that problem. So we're developing infrastructure which is going to serve the innovation of AI.
Well, you announced that deal that you recently announced with BlackBerry AIF, and it really turns EdgeMode into a large-scale European developer almost overnight. What makes these 5 Spanish sites so strategic, Charlie?
Yeah, we're delighted with the deal. It is transformational, as you quite rightly said. And what it does is it positions EdgeMode as a developer of scale. So 1.5 gigawatts, which is spread across 5 sites, each of approximately 300 megawatts, makes us a very large player. Now, what was appealing about the sites that we secured in Spain was really a function of our relationship with BlackBerry AIF. They provide on-the-ground experience. They've been developing very large-scale infrastructure projects globally, but especially in Spain over the last 20 years, of several gigawatts. So for us, that's incredibly important and comforting that we've got a partner which has the operational engineering and regulatory experience in this field. So that made us feel very comfortable with Spain because of them. Spain as a geography has an abundance of land that we can take advantage of, has a very highly appealing and already proven demand for clients to deploy data centers there. So the ingredients felt right. We had the right partners, the right location, the right demand to build a truly scalable project. And I think that's if not the most important thing, it's scale. Demand is significant. So 1.5 gigawatts is incredibly important in terms of capacity.
Charlie, you mentioned power being the real constraint for AI growth. How does this portfolio address that, and what gives EdgeMode an edge on power secured development?
Yeah, and that's very true. I think it's a global challenge, but one which is particularly painful in Europe. And we've taken what I believe is a relatively unique approach where we're not become constrained or therefore reliant on the grid, which across Europe is constrained. There's not enough power and connection capacity on the grid to supply these projects. So we've taken an approach which has been mirrored by others, particularly in North America, where we're combining what we call a hybrid energy architecture. So that includes gas supply, so utilizing gas turbines predominantly, renewable, solar. Clearly, Spain's a fantastic geography for that, and also battery energy as the best battery energy storage. So when we're utilizing these ingredients, these components for architecture, for energy architecture, we can provide resilience, scale, but also independence on the grid. I think that gives us an advantage. It creates scale, but also gets power to the market relatively quickly, without the reliance of being in a queue, let's say, or behind several people in that queue to gain capacity. So, that's our approach. It's one that we've seen has been successful in other markets, and we're quite excited to bring this to Spain and Europe more generally.
Charlie, the model here seems to be advancing sites to ready to build and then monetizing at RTB. How repeatable is that across the full 1.5 gigawatt portfolio, and what could it mean for revenues?
It is. So our model is to create these ready-to-build sites, and what that means is we've done a lot of the heavy lifting and foundational work for the data center operator, whereby we've acquired the land, we've secured the power, the permitting, and all the development processes to hand over to that operator. Now, economically speaking, at today's comparables, that equates to a value of $1 million per megawatt. So it's very significant. It's with demand growing and supply not matching that demand, we expect that number to actually increase. But $1 million per megawatt, 1.5 gigawatts of capacity for sale. Yeah, one can do some simple maths. It's in excess of $1 billion in value. How scalable? It's very scalable. We're already looking at not only completing these projects, and we've got some very strong client demand already, and we expect to actually sell these projects, or certainly sell the first one or two of the five in the next 3 to 6 months. But we're looking at more, not just in Spain, but other territories as well. So we've got interesting opportunities available to us in different parts of the world. We're looking at things in actually South America, Latin America, other European geographies, and we have a very much a repeatable, proven template way of working. So it's a case of matching what we have already in terms of our capabilities with BlackBerry's on the ground expertise, our capital market skills, and the current market demand, which is great in just scaling up.
I mean, looking ahead, what should investors expect between now and your targeted 2027 RTB milestones? And how does this all feed into your planned US uplisting?
So I think the next things investors will be excited to see will be updates around these projects, meaning significant milestones being met throughout this process, where it'll be power agreements, connections, permitting, fiber, etc. All of these things are signs of significant progress and brings us closer to being to the point of RTB, and therefore ready to be sold, or ready to build and ready to buy. So investors will be informed about that. Of course, they'll also be informed of business development. So when we sign the first client, I think that will happen quite soon. So that'll be exciting for everyone. And then new developments, so ways in which we can grow this partnership with our partners, or potentially new partners, and scale things up. How does that impact our uplisting? Well, significantly in a couple of respects. One is from a timing point of view, our plan has been to uplist towards the end of 26, in and around that time period. So we think there's great momentum to that date with these milestone achievements and potential sales. It brings real asset value to the business, which is a critical component when you're uplisting onto NASDAQ. So I think we're in for a really interesting 12, 18 months here, and we're all very excited.
Well, Charlie, I hope you'll keep us posted on your developments. Thank you very much for the introduction today.
Pleasure. Thank you very much.
Charlie Faulkner is CEO of EdgeMode.